Hey everyone, hope you're having a really good day. And if you're not having an especially good day, I hope this video about a sweater that I knit a few years back might help out with that a little bit. This is the Seagull sweater, and the pattern is designed by Ruth Sorensen. I'm guessing that is a Norwegian name. My pronunciation is off, for which I apologize, but isn't that good looking? This was the first Colorwork project that I ever knit. So I was definitely aiming for the stars when I decided I was going to go all out and knit a full Colorwork sweater. And I will admit right away that it did take me about 3 years to get through it. Now, in the interim, of course, I was making a bunch of other stuff, and I was just kind of coming back and forth because, you know, this is a lot of knitting. So it's seagulls, and it has water going along with them, and it's just a beautiful design. I probably could have left off the bottom row of birds. I wasn't, again, this is the first Colorwork project I ever did, so, I wanted it to come out even, but, yeah, it's a little long, but for the winter, that's fine. And this ribbing is kind of fun because you do two colors. It's a 2x2 rib, but the knit stitches are in one color and the purl stitches are another color. And even that in itself, just starting that off, I was like, woo, this is really fancy. This is like the big league of knitting, I think prior to that, I'd probably done a hat and a couple scarves and maybe a pair of mittens. So I really like the pattern. I like you get the eyes on the seagull, and I think I did pretty decently with the color. This is a lighter blue on there. Now, I didn't know what I was doing back then, so I shopped for yarn on the web store based on the color I wanted and the weight, but also the price. So I ended up with Cascade. I'm sure we all know, we have associations with Cascade. There's the sleeves with the water pattern. Seen far away like that, it's really kind of cool looking, but when you see it up close, then you get more of the idea of how it's supposed to be the waves. And the same ribbing on the end of the sleeve. So in any case, I ended up with superwash yarn. And if I ever knit this again, which I might because I really like the pattern, I would probably use woolly wool. I would probably go straight to the woolly thistle. Now, did you hear they have an in-person store? I want to go there. And I would get, something from Rauna or something like that. So it worked, but the steeking was heck. I also, you can barely tell, but I actually, even in spite of all the wool I bought, I actually ran out. And I had to substitute. I went down to Personal Threads in Omaha, and I asked the people, I said, I'm so close to finishing this sweater, so you got to find me something that will work. And honestly, I'm looking here, and I think I can see a slight color difference there. But it's so minimal. I'm really pleased with the customer service there because they actually did find something that worked, and when I put this on, no one noticed. They don't see any difference, it's a sweater and it's really pretty. So I would like to give kudos to the designer because the pattern is it's a bit elaborate, but it's extremely detailed. Let me see if I can here's just an example. It shows you a detail of the bird that is actually knit up, and it has details from like finding the center line and setting aside the stitches when you're working on the steeks, which I'll talk about briefly in a second. This is the first thing I ever did with steeks in it too. In fact, so far it's the only thing that I've ever done. But with these illustrations, it was extremely helpful. Lots of details, and I'm honestly not sure where I got this, but I'm sure you could find it. It was online somewhere, and I bought it, and I downloaded it, and then I printed it off. That's why the paper is so low quality. I did find that one or two of the graphs did have slight errors in them. I don't know if those have been corrected. And I didn't I didn't send any notes along to the designer. I probably could have. It's minor, but I did have to make a couple of corrections on the design graphs. But I think the directions are also reasonably clear with regard to changing up, up a size, changing to a different size. Especially, with regard to, you have to work on the sleeves as well as the neckline and all that, how to do the, increases and decreases. So that was helpful because since, this was my first time doing this kind of a sweater with all the color work. And to be honest, not just color work, but I had to graft the shoulders together. That's, you can kind of see, where the line is, but I did a pretty good job considering it was my first time. And there was steeking involved in the neck. And of course, since I was using superwash yarn, and I reported briefly on this in another video, but, it won't felt. So I was really concerned when I, figured out my mistake trying to do this with superwash. But there were ways around it. So here I just used seam binding. And I literally, I stitched the actual wool with a zigzag, and then I put the seam binding over that. I did a different salvaging technique with every steek. And let me show you the armhole steeks. And I'm really proud because it holds together great. So here I did the crochet approach, but then I also sewed over that. I was like, by gum, these steeks are not going to come apart. And I was so excited now. I was all proud of myself because you see all these videos about, oh my God, you're cutting, you're knitting. And I'm like, well, that's, that's what you got to do. I'm going to learn how. More seam binding on this one. And so there's steeks going different ways across the yarn, whether vertical or horizontal. But I made them all work. Let me see what the other side I think looks even different. Well, when I grabbed the yarn to crochet these babies, I just picked up, whatever I had. So it was a good opportunity to use yarn that had no other purpose. And I kind of had to sew together this little seam here. But good news is that my crazy methods worked. And the other thing that I will admit, so I almost hesitate because I'm going to look kind of stupid, but I really struggled with the width of the sleeve. So you can tell this one is kind of baggy and the other one, it looks a little bit better. And to be honest, I still struggle just a little bit with sleeves on the decreases, like how to get that perfect diagonal line going up so that, well, if you're knitting bottom up, which this one was top down, because here you have to pick up stitches to attach the sleeves to the body, which was another issue because, I picked up more on one side than I did on the other because guess what? I was sort of guessing what I was doing, but I did it. So now I was going to try to hold up these sleeves side by side so you can tell there's just a slight difference. If you hold it this way, you can tell that one sleeve came out just a little bit bigger. So when I wear it, does it matter? No, especially since this, this is a fairly heavy sweater. It's color work. And so everything is doubled, right? So it's really warm. I'm going to wear it over a turtleneck or a long sleeve. And I'm going to have a coat on top of that. So who cares if the sleeve's a little bit imbalanced? And I also had to learn how to make floats and how to do the floats in such a way that you don't create ladders. And I feel really good. I mean, lesson learned, right? You tackle a project like this. It's like, I have to learn to make floats. You're going to make a lot of floats. So, overall, I think it's beautiful. And I do enjoy wearing it from time to time. The feel of this yarn is less appealing to me than the feel of all the other sweaters I've knitted, because I have 3 of them I've made out of Noro and a few with Icelandic wool. And I finally knitted up a sweater I showed you a few weeks ago in sport weight Rauna. And that's probably my favorite so far. I did knit one other superwash sweater, which I'm not sure I've shown you actually. I think I should get that one out and show you. So in any case, I do recommend this pattern. I think it's just gorgeous. And, you know, you could do any colors with that. It's such a beautiful motif. The symmetry of it is just makes you happy to look at. And it's very well written. So just be aware, you know, again, it could have been updated. This was, you know, by the time I bought the pattern, it's like 5 years ago. So by then it might have been updated. But just be aware that if you do look for this pattern, that there is one chart of the Colorwork with the doves where there is an error. And honestly, if you have this pattern or you want to get it and you want to ask me about the errors because you can't find it, I'll be happy to. I'll send you like a screenshot of where it is because, you know, it's well worth knitting. This kind of all over color work like this with just like a overall design, you know, honestly, you don't see that very much. I do so many yoke sweaters now, or I'll do them with like stripes and, you know, different motifs going across, or like Fair Isle. But I just like the harmoniousness of this. I think it's really pretty. So anyhow, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to give it a thumbs up and all that good stuff. And if you have ideas for topics that you'd like me to address in knitting, let me know. I have tons of books. I've tried tons of things, and there's a lot that I want to learn. So I'm looking forward to trying new things as well. So if you want, you know, if you want me to look at double knitting or something, you know, hit me up. I'll give it a try. I won't hesitate. So thanks for listening, and have a great day. Bye.